Today, we are going to be talking about a very important book that I find absolutely enthralling, absolutely captivating, and it's by an Indian author and it's an Indian non-fiction book. The book is this one. This is Loss by Siddharth Dhanwant Shangvi, and it is the tale of grief. It is the tale of how it feels to lose someone in your life. So, yeah, that's what the book is about, right? This is exactly what the book wants to tell you. So, Siddharth Shangvi lost his parents and his dog as well over a period of 10 years between 2008 and 2018. And it is a stream of consciousness non-fiction book which talks about how he dealt with their deaths and how he kind of is trying to still come in terms with the loss, with the grief that the whole situation has left behind. Especially, I really love the sentence at the back of the book. It says, "Grief is not a record of what has been lost, but of who has been loved." And this is, I think, the sole reason why I decided that this book is super intriguing for me. This is the exact reason why I decided to even like pick it up. The thing is that with this book, you need a physical copy. Okay. And talking about what I liked everything. I read this book in one sitting. I read this book in a manner that is I was just frozen while reading this book, because how do you overcome loss? Like, how do you overcome the grief of losing your loved ones? How do you overcome the loss of losing, your pet? And that aspect kind of just pulled me in, because what this book kind of does is it kind of tells you the story of how his parents passed away, how his dog passed away. It kind of tells you what all happened on that particular day. Like, where was he? What was he doing? What did he do when he heard the news? And things like that. And what then it kind of transpires into is this kind of anecdote on how he's supposed to live his life now that he's lost the important people out there. It's very much like evident that that kind of grief, that kind of sadness does not leave you, right? That kind of grief, that kind of sadness stays with you for a very long time, because of the fact that they were people who were important in your life. But it's like a process, like overcoming the grief, overcoming the entire situation is a process that you have to learn, that you have to kind of live with, and time heals everything. To be honest, I did not dislike anything in this book, but I have more points to convince you why should you read this book. Okay, and of course invest in a physical copy, because this is one of my absolute favorite books of all time. I will cherish this copy for a very long time in my life, and I will keep rereading it. I'll keep getting back to it, and whenever the time comes when I have to experience loss of someone in my life, I think this is the book that I'll be getting back to and reading. Now, one of the things that I kind of like mentioned even on my Instagram review for this book was that if you liked, so the recent I think book that everyone's been reading is Anuk Araspragasam's A Passage North, which is a stream of consciousness fiction book, and this is kind of like a stream of consciousness non-fiction book. Okay, so if you actually like stream of consciousness, if you like literary fiction, if you're looking forward to reading something that's stream of consciousness, this is the book you have to read. But then more than that, it's something that you need to read for the content, for the matter in it, and for the way a person exactly feels during a tough time like this. Now, I would like to also tell you some of my favorite quotes from the book. Of course, these are not spoilers, but these are like anecdotes that I really found beautiful, right? Basically, example. Let me start with one of these, right? It basically says, after watching my father's powerful loneliness billow and expand, a time in which all the things that had once potent meaning were hollowed out, I told myself, leave if you've enjoyed yourself. Leave because you're still enjoying yourself. Leave because you will have to anyway. Learn to see when the right time is staring in your face. Leave. Our exit from this world is remembered far more than our entry to it, right? And there are many such quotes like these, many such sentences like these that will literally enthrall you. For example, like I said, the line at the back, I'm repeating where it is in this particular book. It says, grief is not a record of what has been lost, but of who has been loved. In the end, we weep not only for the death of someone, but for the startling question that faces us. What shall we do with the love we have for the deceased? Where will we put it? Who now shall be recipient of the gifts of our hearts? And the sentences in this book make me realize how difficult the situation can be, and how uneasy it can be to actually pen all of these words into this particular, you know, 131-page book, right? Because the intensity of the author's writing kind of gets everything together, and you just feel like really, really sad inside you. It's The writing is very compelling, the writing is beautiful, and more importantly, it kind of makes you think about your life as well, about your situation as well. And if you've lost someone in your life, and if you've been a part of that form of grief, then you know what, you have someone to share this particular feeling, this particular situation with. Honestly, when I started this video, I thought of filming like, book review for this video. All I thought was, how can I convince someone to read Loss? Okay, how can I convince someone to buy the physical book and read it? But now that I'm like talking to you throughout this video, I've come to the realization that it's an inevitable part of your life. It's an inevitable part of your life. At the end, you will go. At the end, you will die. At the end, people around you will also die. So I think that if you are someone who has been born and who's bound to die, of course, this is the exact book that you need to read. This is the exact book that will help you deal with the grief, with the loss of things, and everything in general. So yeah, that being said, this is it. This is the end of the video. There's nothing that I disliked in this book. This was a full 5 from me. Absolutely loved it. I highly recommend that you pick it up. And this is going to be one of those books that I would be gifting other people as well, because it's an important read. It's a highly intense read, and something that I'll keep going back to, something I'll keep rereading no matter what. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.